What's going on, everyone? Coming to y'all with yet another knife review, this time on a Buck. Now, longtime viewers may know that me and Buck have a bit of a troubled history. I've reviewed quite a few Buck knives here on the channel, not like tons and tons and tons, but a fair number, and many of them did not receive great reviews. I reviewed the Buck Series and said it was a very cool collectible knife, but not the most comfortable or functional knife. I reviewed the Buck Bantam Series twice and was let down both times. Even though in the latter review I did manage to get a hold of some that were much better quality, I had to jump through a lot of hoops and deal with terrible customer service to get it. So, me and Buck don't exactly have the greatest track record, and I struggle to find knives from them that I do enjoy. However, I want to say that this one has surprised me quite nicely, and I've really enjoyed the product that I've received. I also want to mention first things first about the price, because this is MSRPing, or not MSRPing, but retailing rather, at Walmart in store for about $35. However, you can buy it on the Walmart website for about $18. And while I do recommend the knife at either price point, if I'm being completely honest, it's obviously better to pay $18 and get it for functionally half the cost, which does greatly change how much value you get for the money. So let's go ahead and show the packaging. Everyone likes to see packaging, or at least that's what I convinced myself. So I got mine in this little box. You may get yours in a blister pack. It just has the typical Buck information. Talks about the forever warranty. Made in China. This is a Chinese-made Buck knife, so if that bothers you, you may want to click away. And on the end here, we can see Trekker XLT, and then some more of the information. And inside the box, we don't really have anything too noteworthy, just the warranty information. So yeah, that's the packaging. Toss that out of the way now because it's now done its job. Let's talk about the knife, starting with the blade. Now, I do want to say that unfortunately this only comes in a combo edge. I would have much preferred this in a plain edge or straight edge design. However, the serration takes up so little of the blade that it honestly doesn't bother me too much, and it hasn't really affected the way that I've used the knife. And some of you out there may actually even enjoy the fact that it's combo edge if you're cutting a lot of fibrous materials day in and day out. The blade is 3 inches long. It is a 420 high carbon stainless steel, which 420 HC, honestly not a very good steel, probably below the acceptable level in most cases. However, as many people know, Buck is able to work wonders on their 420 HC when it works. I have had Buck 420 HC blades that were actually just impossible to sharpen for some reason. Those seem to be few and far between. However, this one, outstanding. It has very good edge holding, all things considered, actually surpassing the likes of many of my AUS 8 and HCR 13 MOV blades, which for a 420 blade is a miracle, no matter how you slice it, pun intended. Outstanding rust resistance, aided by this titanium nitride coating on the blade, and extremely easy to sharpen, not to mention it takes a damn fine edge. And out of box, this thing was very, very sharp. It is hollow ground from the midsection down here, which has lent it to be a fantastic slicer. I put this through quite a bit of cardboard to test it, and it has held up fantastically, as has this coating. You can see some wear on the coating, but it's honestly not very much. The clip point style design is great because we have a good amount of belly for any kind of cutting task, but also it gives us a moderately good tip, not super sharp, but moderately good tip for penetrating clamshell packaging, bubble mailers, and the like. So I actually really do like the blade on this knife. I think it's very functional. I think it's very attractive, honestly. I like the blade shape, and it has done me very, very well. I don't have anything negative to say about the blade, other than I do wish it was a plain edge. Maybe one day Buck will make it that way. I do want to also mention real quick that I believe this to be a Walmart exclusive, so I don't think you can get this on Amazon or on the Buck website directly. So, just so you know. Deployment and lockup on this knife, it's actually interesting because looking through here I can see what appears to be one phosphor bronze washer and one Teflon washer. I'm not really sure the reason for that, but it does come out very nicely. It comes out quick, and it comes out smooth. The deployment method is these 2 flange thumb studs, which if you're familiar with knives like the Sanren Moose 7010 or the Columbia River Knife and Tool Drifter, these thumb studs might look very familiar. They provide excellent grip and help deploy the knife very quickly. Lockup is tight. I have no play in any direction, and I could easily adjust it at the pivot point if any were to develop. It is double-sided, which means we could also adjust our centering if we had problems. However, as you can see on mine, it is perfectly centered, which You know, it's becoming more and more common on affordable knives these days, and I personally love to see that. It's a very small thing, but it's something I do like to notice all the same. Handle is 4 inches long and made out of an anodized aluminum. I love this two-tone aesthetic with the dark blue up here and the kind of metallic green, yellowish green that we have on the lower section. I think that it makes it stand out quite a bit when compared to other knives in the market. I love aluminum handles in the first place, and I think this one is a very handsome looking handle. In terms of how it functions, I'm going to say that it has moderate ergonomics. It's not exactly amazing. There's slightly squared shoulders on it, and this liner lock protrudes in a way that it does cause a very small hot spot when bearing down on the knife, but honestly nothing too bad. We have a notched style jimping cut in the top spine, which locks the thumb in very well, so you have great control over this knife for whatever cutting task you're employing it in. As I mentioned, it is a liner lock. You can see our engagement there. And it is a nested liner lock, meaning that instead of having a full steel liner, it is just a piece of steel which is nested into that aluminum handle, which helps keep weight down. Weight on this knife is only 2.8 ounces, which is fantastically light, all things considered. I mean, knives about this size are usually 3 ounces and over, so being able to come in under 3 is honestly just a great perk if you care about having lightweight knives. It is a flow-through pillar construction, which means it is very easy to clean out if you were to drop this thing in the mud, or if something else were to get in there, maybe pocket lint that you need to blow out with compressed air. Very, very easy to do so. I'm always a fan of these flow-through pillar type designs. Overall, I think it's an attractive knife, and I have been carrying and using this thing quite readily and really enjoying having it in my pocket. I am happy that the liner lock is jimped because it does give us good traction to reach in and disengage the lock. However, I do kind of wish it wasn't quite so proud of the scales because it does introduce that very small hot spot, and it's not exactly extremely well finished. I mean, it does its job. It's sharp, which is what it wants to be in order for us to get grip on it, but it's obviously a double-edged sword in the fact that now it's biting into our pointer finger when we're using the knife. Pocket clip is orientated only for right hand tip up. You cannot swap this to anywhere else, which is a shame. I would have at least liked to see it swapped over for lefty carry, but unfortunately what you see is what you get. How does it carry? In a way that many people love and that I do not. Get this on here. It is a loop-over deep carry clip that completely buries the knife in your pocket, albeit, telling the world that it's a buck knife. I personally have never been a fan of these loop-over deep carry clips. I know many people out there love them, and I'm sure for all of you it's a great benefit. For me, I would have liked to have seen this with a little more exposed from the pocket so I can more easily extract it, especially since this does lack a lanyard hole of any form, or really even a great spot to put a lanyard. I guess we could put one over that back pillar there, but at that point we're kind of rigging it ourselves. So that is the clip. In terms of how it's designed, slight flare up there, but nothing too bad. I haven't had this snag on any seat belts or car doors or anything, and the tension on here is very stout. As well as the fact that you can see the amount of space between the clip and the pocket does mean that this can easily go over thicker fabric, such as blue jeans. Price point, as mentioned before, anywhere from $18 to $35, and I would recommend it at either price point if I'm being honest. This is one of my favorite buck knives in years. Well, there are some small issues with it, but I still enjoy it nonetheless. I think it's a great, fantastic, high-value blade. If you can get this for $18, it's a freaking steal, and I recommend it all day long. If you had to pay $35, it is still worth it in my opinion, but obviously at that point we have some really fantastic knives that are going to come in to compete against this. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and just grab a few of those from my knife binder real quick to show them off. The first one I want to mention is the Gerber Air Ranger. Modern versions of this have a 7CR 17 MOV blade, so inferior steel to the Buck, but beautiful aluminum handle. Also a nested liner lock, right hand tip down only carry clip. Comes out extremely fast, extremely ergonomic in hand. I mean, more so than the Buck. Price range about $30 on this. And that's what I mean. When this hits about that $30 to $35 range, it has much more competition. Let's see, what are some other options? How about a $40 knife? The Sencut Scepter. 9CR 18 MOV blade, which does perform a bit better in this case than the 420HC on that Buck. Micarta handle scales, liner lock design, loop over deep carry clip on this as well, but it is reversible to the left-hand side. This rides on a ball bearing system, in that pivot point, and this thing just flies out of the handle for 40 bucks. It is a hell of a competitive option against the Buck, and honestly kind of outshines it in many ways. How about the competitive option against the $18 price tag? Here's a Smith & Wesson Extreme Ops model. What is the model on this one? CK105? Always have a hard time keeping these model numbers straight because they don't have any kind of memorable names. 7CR 17MOV blade, aluminum handle. This is a different clip. The original clip carried about like this, but the price tag is only around $12. So I think it's a fair competitive option to bring in here against the Buck. What else do we got? Here's another one from Walmart. This is a Kershaw. This is the model 1310 WM, standing for Walmart, because I believe this is also a Walmart exclusive. This knife is fantastic in every way but one. I mean, it comes out fast, it's super comfy in hand, it has a great blade design for EDC, it's cheap at only $13, great centering, reversible pocket clip to left-hand side. The downside is the blade steel. 3CR13 MOV. I don't know about that one, guys. Love the knife, but the steel is pretty bad. But it is a competitive option at Walmart, so I wanted to go ahead and show that off. How about another competitive option from Walmart? This is the Camillus Cuda Mini Walmart version, which means a 420 blade, a glass-filled nylon handle, liner lock design, right-hand tip-down carry, loop-over clip. Good centering, though. Comes out fast, locks up tight. Price range about 22 bucks. Now, if you're at Walmart, these are 3 knives you're going to see for, somewhat similar price ranges, depending on if your Walmart has this in store for 18 or not. Of these 3, the Buck is actually the winner in my opinion, but I wanted to show them to you because they are competing for your money at the exact same vendor. Let's see, what else do I have that I can roll in front here as a competitive option? How about one that kind of sucks? This is the Gerber Highbrow Compact. 7CR 17MOV blade, aluminum handles, axis type locks, super chunky. I mean, just bring these knives in against each other and you can see just like massive chunk that is the Gerber. Lock-up issues on this one. There's up and down blade play. Kind of a goofy clip that doesn't really mount on the handle all that well. A dumb safety feature which constantly engages itself when I don't want it to, making deploying this a bit of a pain sometimes. Price tag about 35 to 40 bucks. The Buck slaughters the Gerber in every single imaginable way. This is also, coincidentally, available at Walmart. So, another reason for me to bring that in as a competitive option in that sense. And then, let's see, one more that I want to bring in. How about the Gonzo Firebird? This one is the model, bring this in, F759M, 440C blade, glass-filled nylon handle. Pocket clip can go to any of the 4 positions. Lockback design. Great lockup on this one. Price tag around $15. That is a hell of a knife to consider against the Buck Trekker. So, overall, the knife has a lot going on for it, and I actually really enjoy it. I carry it quite a bit, and I get quite a bit of use out of it. However, it is worth mentioning that there is a lot of competition out there for the $35 price tag that it technically retails for. That said, at $18, you definitely could not go wrong, and it becomes one of the best options on the market, in my opinion, at that price range. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and until next time, peace, and I will see you later.